We're talking about a mental health crisis in the UK as a result of what's happened recently in Cambridgeshire, where a 32-year-old man, Anthony Williams, stabbed a 14-year-old boy and also a passenger or some passengers on a train in Cambridgeshire. Hi everyone, we're back on the podcast. My name is Jonelle. I'm here with Shumba. And Shumba, what's going on?
About the events that took place recently, we were talking about the stabbing in the London train, or where the Cambridge.
Cambridge, yeah.
Yeah, so it was quite disturbing events. So yeah, that's what I think I want to. We can delve into that.
Right. We're going to explore why these kind of things happen, or why this guy ended up committing this crime.
My philosophy or my thinking is that, or my view on the matter is that it does look, from the videos I watched from the start when he goes into the barber shop, it looks very, very mentally unstable. Mm-hmm. So now this brings me the idea that, like, is this guy is this guy 100% okay? Because there's also reports that, like, he had a confrontation with a motorist in his neighborhood, kicked his car, but they called the police. Mm-hmm. You know, this person called the police, but police didn't come. So are we that, are the police understaffed? You know, is this really got to this state where, you know, when police can be called to see, or was it deemed as something that's very minor that he shouldn't have police involvement? Because he spoke about he only just got given a crime reference number, which is quite appalling to say, you know, that the police didn't even turn up. So, right. but anyway, from what I look at the video of when he walked in the barbershop, the guy looked very, very, very mentally unstable.
Right.
So yeah.
So there is a chain of events that's happened.
Uh-huh.
So like you're saying, I didn't know about the first part, what you just said about him attacking a car.
Yeah.
I've only started seeing videos from when he was attacking people in the barbershop.
I read about this.
And apparently there was another incident where he stabbed a 14-year-old
boy. Yes.
And then obviously the train incident where a lot more people were hurt. Mm-hmm. So you're saying this guy was given a crime reference number.
Yeah.
But the police didn't turn up.
Yeah.
So we need to explore as to why.
Yeah. So they didn't investigate it further. Right, okay. My thinking is, my guess is that, they saw that as a minor incident that didn't really need to looking into further. Probably road rage, maybe they thought. But so it actually is very concerning for me when I've seen people online when it all flared up. I mean, I feel personally that the UK is going into a very, very much more of a fascist state, and a lot of people are going hard on, you know, who's who looks a certain way, you know, and with that in mind, it's like, you know, it was like you could see the quick reactions on as if, is these people again. So I don't know. I think it's something we need to look into, because when I was drawing parallels, mm-hmm. I looked into this. I was drawing parallels on the because years ago, I can't remember how long ago was it, but there was a shooting in America. I think the guy was called Dylan Roof.
Dylan Roof, yes.
Yeah, Dylan Roof. He was a white supremacist. He opened fire into a church. But when I looked into what he did and the state of mind he had, because there was arguments to say, well, if somebody premeditates it, mm-hmm. he clearly knows what they're doing.
Right.
But when you look at what Roof did, Roof actually had a website where he glorified Rhodesia. He glorified Rhodesia. He was glorifying all this white supremacist propaganda. He was on it. He was on fire.
Right.
And it was quite. And then when he actually committed the crime and he got arrested, and he's being charged. You know, he's been sentenced. But however, when his solicitors, when his lawyers was trying to argue that he doesn't face the death penalty, he didn't even want it, because what they were arguing over was that he has got mental health issues. When he's been assessed, they range from schizophrenia to autism, spectrum. He's on the autism spectrum.
Right.
So with that in mind, he rejected to say he doesn't want to play using autism. According to Dylan Roof, he was saying he would rather die than being seen as a weirdo, because he has a belief that white nationalists are going to come in and rescue him from prison and then the big race war is going to start. So that in itself, to me, shows me that this person is mentally unstable. This person is delusional.
Right.
This person is suffering from schizophrenia. Now, I feel like I don't need to be a psychiatrist to come to that conclusion. That's my assessment of that. That's my personal opinion on it. Because I feel like, anyone would take it and say, okay, maybe this thing may get me off, but he doesn't even want it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want it because he wants to stick with his principles. And what principles are they? But then again, I don't have enough information about what happened with Anthony Williams.
Williams, yes.
But I fully believe that he's not mentally right. He's not right. And I think we need to talk about the mental health system, because if you try, there's a crisis, because when you're trying to, if you try and register or trying to be assessed by a professional, I think the waiting list it ranges from 5 to 8 years waiting list.
This is in the UK.
This is in the UK, and so I'm not too sure whether this guy how he slept on the net, whether he defaulted his medication. I don't know enough, but and also I want to highlight that me talking about this has got roots in mental health issues doesn't mean that I'm saying it's all okay. He should be going around killing people.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that out loud. Yeah.
So I'm not saying this is like it's a golden excuse. It's not that. I'm just saying we need to look into what can then be done. What can be done. Are we going to then think of are we going to introduce controversial methods of how to deal with it? What can we do?
Capture other people.
Yeah.
I do agree. But when you're drawing parallels to the roof guy in the United States, there wasn't an overspill of everybody saying, "Oh, look at this guy," the same way people are looking at Anthony Williams in the UK just because of his race. I mean, there's been an explosion of racists online saying, "Oh, look what multiculturalism has done." But we're saying, hang on a minute, this guy wasn't okay. He's got mental health issues. He slipped through the net somehow, but he's not the first one in the UK to slip through the net. Now, that definitely brings race into it.
It does.
How does it play in this kind of situation? How does race play in mental health in the UK? So you mentioned that the waiting list is longer. So does that mean it's longer, even longer for people of a certain minority?
I think it's longer for everyone with that one. But anyway, with the whole race issue, the way I look at it is that I feel that a lot of people do find empathy to people who resemble them. So when they look at someone who resembles, they actually can feel more empathy. They can relate to humans, like to relate to humans that look like them.
Yeah.
So when they see there was a lot of racist comments, and there was no empathy. There's nothing. It's just like this guy is he's done this, and again my heart goes to the victims of of all that awful, and all those people, how they're going to deal with a lot of PTSD, dealing with what's happened to them. But there's something serious that needs to be fundamentally discussed. Something about this broken system or a crisis. I don't know, but I think we need to discuss. We need to have a discussion about what needs to be done to avoid this in the future. The government needs to address this. I think people should know the difference between ethnicity and nationality. That there's a disconnect. It's not the same thing. That somebody needs to be white British. So, and again, there's 6 types of British nationality, which many people are not aware of. You can be a British national but not a British citizen, which is basically, this is the result of British colonial legacy. How you have British subjects, you have British national from overseas. You've got all these have got different rights. They would need immigration. They are subject to immigration control. They're not British citizens. So, but every time I hear online though, it's it's exhausting when you hear about
it is exhausting.
This person is not British. It's clearly not British. It's what is British? I mean, are you aware that there's 6 categories of British nationalities? that's what we have.
Yeah.
That was the result of this. We've not created the system. Anyway,
So can we then say that all these microaggressions that people people that are not white British suffer, does that contribute to depression, PTSD?
of course
Would
it
you
does.
agree?
Yeah, absolutely. It contributes a lot.
Yeah.
Something needs to be done about this the sooner.
Yeah, and it does say, I've just pulled up a report here. It says black people are significantly more likely to be detained under the Mental Health Act, around 4 times more likely than white people. They are also more likely to be subject to community treatment orders, CTOs, and physical restraint in hospitals. So 4 times more likely. Now, if you look at all the racial prejudice that people have, and especially now, you said Britain's becoming a fascist state.
Absolutely.
That increases the risk of you having some type of mental health. Now, for those people that don't, have to deal with this, it's very difficult to understand. It is difficult to encapsulate the feeling because you're more likely to feel more empathy towards people that look like you, which are the same people that don't understand what it's like to go through these microaggressions, racism, discrimination, and we have to find a way to sort of bring this together without looking at race.
Yes.
Is it possible? I don't think so, but there's got to be another way.
The balance is very difficult to strike, but yeah, we'd have to, we'd have to take baby steps on towards a solution. A solution needs to be found on this matter.
Talking about the mental health crisis in the UK, as a result of what's happened recently in Cambridgeshire, where a 32-year-old man, Anthony Williams, stabbed a 14-year-old boy and also a passenger or some passengers on a train in Cambridgeshire. Now, we did say we're going to look at the statistics when it comes to mental health issues in the country. Now, according to the statistics, it is more likely that people from a black background will suffer with mental health more than any other race in the UK. I mean, obviously, Anthony Williams is black. Now, I have some information here. It says black and mixed heritage groups have the highest rates of detention under the Mental Health Act. In 2022 to 2023, black people were 3 to 5 times more likely to be detained than white people, with a rate of 228 per 100,000 compared to only 64 per 100,000 of the other races. The highest rate was found in the other black background group at 715.4 detentions for 100,000. Now, the lowest rates are in the Chinese, Indian, white, British people. White Irish groups also had the lowest detention rates.
I think it's a combination of several factors.
Okay.
So there isn't just one factor that pulls this to make it happen. So there's a combination of factors, which other groups may not be going through. So, for example, like the white British won't be going through. So you have, for example, when you have like the whole migration, you come into a new country, or or you're a second generation. Like how you've settled in and everything. So there's a level of isolation there. There's a level of hostility there. There's a lot at play before you start and anything else. And that's before we're talking about institutional racism and involves like unemployment. Also involves like say drug use. So we're on the drug use though. There's been reports about where people with mental health issues, they may self-medicate, where they're like, they're prone to drugs more. They're drawn to drugs more because the chemical imbalance in their heads, it's like they are almost like they're trying to self-medicate.
Right.
When they have like, when they have got severe problems. So it's almost like it's a paradox where like the brain is saying that they need some drugs, but they're gonna take any drugs. I don't know, but but this I don't like to go into the technicality of it, because I feel like you know, like that's quite a bit like, you know, tricky because
Okay.
I don't really know much.
You're not a
about,
medical
I'm
expert.
not a medical expert, so to be going much into that. But you know, I have come across articles where they talk about, you know, those who are, you know, like we have got mental health issues, they're likely to take drugs because their brain is somehow tries to self-medicate, so you're more likely. And again, but then again, you can even look at the simple factors like society itself, where if you're then kind of segregated, if you are kind of getting into groups and going into gang culture, getting into, you know, like there's a lot at play as well to do with that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I
and then
agree.
to do with trying to prove, you know, these are things that you may, you know, like a lot of people from black ethnic backgrounds would have to be would be going through, which the other ones won't be going through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. The technicality of it is very difficult for me to explore and get and delve into the
Yeah.
technicality of it. But what I know is what's on the ground, that something is not adding up.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, this group of people is going through that more than the other. So yeah, that's what I know, and that's what I feel like it needs to be addressed. It needs to be looked at. It needs to be taken care of.
It is important to look at the root problem, the root cause, and address it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And before anyone asks us to go back where we come from, we're British citizens. We're not going back anywhere. I believe I'm an international citizen. That's another thing. Child of the universe. So the thing is, I'm not going
Yeah.
anywhere, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make this place habitable for the future generations to come. You can't eradicate me. I've not made myself who I am.
It's not gonna
You know,
change.
it's not going to change. I can't be eradicated. I'm here. It is what it is. So please, let's be civil and let's address issues, and maybe we can get some solutions about it.
Yeah. So please put your concerns, your ideas in the comment section. Let's talk about this. A conversation, like we said, we are talking. We're just chilling, talking, and trying to look at some of these topics that are not very comfortable to discuss and talk about, you know, in society. So thank you very much for your time. Again, please like, subscribe, and share the videos, and we can have a conversation together. Enjoy ourselves. Shumba, you wanna?
No, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for listening, guys. And you know, my condolences to any, you know, anything that's happened, like you know, to those families. You know, that's all I can.